We play and call it work.
Hey there, Wargamers, Josh and Lee back to continue the ongoing adventures of Paintman and Assemblyman. This is this week's Sit and Talk. We are back to the not live format because I think generally that's what people wanted, and we're working on some other live interaction stuff. We do the live RPG show, and I still have fun doing live stuff, but it wasn't everybody's cup of tea. So anywho, we are going to go ahead and jump into answering some questions. Next week it is going to be Quirk answering questions. So if you have any questions for Quirk himself, make sure you leave them in this video on the MiniWarGaming website. Not on YouTube, not on the Vault video, on this video on the MiniWarGaming website. And just say, hey Quirk, hey you. What else can we call him?
Beverly.
Beverly, yeah, the Bevs. There's a variety of different ways you can address him to get his attention. So let's jump right into it.
Yep.
We are going to start off with Aaron. I assume that's how that's pronounced. Aaron. Paintman, how would you characterize the new AOS terrain you're making that makes it distinct from Warhammer Fantasy Battles terrain? Is there like a... I think I know what they're getting at. Is there like a visual aesthetic? Like what sets it aside from fantasy terrain?
It doesn't really.
No.
It's pretty much the same stuff. But, well, you have all the Sigmarite stuff now, so...
Yeah, so the actual look of it.
Yeah.
Do you feel that the AOS stuff is like bigger and more grand?
I never did any fantasy terrain.
I know, but like if you were to make fantasy terrain, would you do it the same way?
Yeah,
or?
exactly.
Oh, yeah?
So, yeah.
Because my big thought would be, for this terrain... It might almost be easier than doing fantasy terrain, because fantasy terrain, it would be a tougher time to make it playable, right?
Yeah, because there's no terrain.
Well, yeah, there's no real terrain, and just being able to move regimented miniatures over stuff would be a nightmare.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think it's more playable. You got
it's more playable, and there's more of it.
Yeah,
that's the thing.
You can fill the board up a lot more.
Yeah.
Really make a pretty looking board, because that's the thing. Yeah, playing fantasy, you can make an awesome looking board, Battle for the Past, and just don't put much in the middle.
Yeah.
It'll look cool, but
yeah,
when you get down to the nitty gritty, it's a backdrop. It's not in-game terrain as much. All right, Assemblyman. I was really excited to see your Imperial Fists in a 30k bat rep. Yeah, I was excited to play them. I've noticed that the 30k bat reps aren't every single week anymore. Is there some danger that this will be dropped like Warhammer's Fantasy Battles? Before 8th edition launch, there seemed to be some momentum to play a few games with Team Yankees that now postponed indefinitely. Okay. I can answer all that stuff. As far as 30k goes, I mean, it's pretty easy to look at and figure out what we're doing here at MiniWarGaming, because it kind of comes down to what we want to do. If the guys were getting burnt out in Warhammer Fantasy Battles and, wanted to postpone it for a while or whatever it might be, that makes sense. Now, 30k... we do have a lot less guests booking for 30k, and that's for two different reasons. The most obvious reason is the fact that 8th edition Warhammer 40k has drawn a lot of the 30k crowd back into playing 40k.
Yep.
Opened up the accessibility and, kind of killed some steam there. The untimely passing of Mr. Alan Bly.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I think, hurt 30k a little bit in the sense that some of the stuff that was coming out obviously has gotten pushed back. The other reason we're seeing less people signing up for 30k is keep in mind that we book about 6 months ahead of time. And for a while there, we weren't sure when we were getting the new 30k updated rules or what it was going to be, so we shut the tap off on 30k guests and said, look, we don't want to go ahead and film something and then have it go out 3 weeks later under the old rules if they're changing a lot. So we weren't sure what changes were going to be made, so we kind of shut off the tap. And obviously we've opened it back up to 30k guests. We get them in every once in a while, but not super often. Now, looking at the content producers and who's still excited to play 30k is probably your best test for how much 30k you're going to see. Because we try not to do content producer on content producer a whole ton, because it's not very efficient for us to do filming that way.
No.
At least not for 30k or 40k. because of the format that we use. So I still love 30K, and I will get games in whenever I can. Luca is a big 30K fan. He's having a lot of fun. And then Steve has got a distinct interest in getting 30K in every once in a while. I don't know if he's as gung-ho as Luke and I are.
Probably not.
But he's still excited to play it.
Yeah.
He's actually got he hasn't played them yet, but he has some games scheduled coming up.
No.
So there's that. And then Quirk, I know I'm kind of speaking on behalf of other people, but I've talked to them all about this, so I feel kind of comfortable doing it. But obviously feel free to talk to them, because they might be able to give you something more in depth. Quirk has said, he's kind of lost steam on 30K. He's just not that interested. He really likes the 8th edition rule set. As far as Team Yankee stuff, as on MiniWarGaming, probably not going to see it on MiniWarGaming anytime soon, but what you're going to see it on is Rob's channel. So Rob, our editor, it should be on YouTube, and it's Board Game Maniacs. He's got a bunch of different games on there. So Rob and I are probably going to be throwing down a bunch of Team Yankee on that channel.
No, he's been asking me to do stuff there too.
Yeah. Rob plays a ton of different games on that channel, so check out Board Game Maniacs. I don't know if he's part of the affiliate program that we got going on. I don't know if his videos show up in the side of the website. But either way, if you can't find him, just email me, josh@miniwargaming.com, and I will direct you that way, because I'm excited to get playing some Yankee. I think Rob's going to play the British as well as the Soviets, and then I'll be playing my West Germans, and maybe get into Americans. I don't know yet. I don't want to go buying too much stuff right away. So yeah, that should answer up those questions. And I always put it out there. Feel free to email me, josh@miniwargaming.com, if you ever want a follow-up question or anything like that, because I won't really answer questions that pop up in Quirk Sit and Talk. But if you email me, I'll email you back. Next, we got William Caw. YouTube comments are disabled. Yeah, we typically disable the YouTube comments because we want all of the comments to be in one spot, and that is on the MiniWarGaming website. It's the easiest one to do it. Now on to the question. Lee, how many models have you converted since you started working at MiniWarGaming? Ugh.
Yeah. It got me thinking.
Yeah.
I mean, are you talking about just conversions or scratch builds? Because that's not the same thing for me, anyway.
Do you keep track of them anyway?
No.
You just get it done,
then
give it out, and forget about it?
So I'd say around 50, 60.
Of varying sizes and complexities?
Yeah.
That's probably fair.
Because, my process isn't I enjoy the journey, not the destination type deal. Yep. I know I keep hammering on about it, but yeah, once it's done, and I don't care. Because Matt was showing me the awesome AOS bridge.
Okay.
And they used it in a game yesterday.
Yep.
And I couldn't care less.
Yeah. When it's done, it's done.
Yeah, it's done.
Yep. That's fair.
So I'd say around 50 and 60.
There we go.
That's a lot.
Keep scrolling through here. A lot of questions from Matt. Keep in mind, he probably is not going to answer them if you ask him on here, because that's not the format. Dragon 11. Josh, Lee, how's life? How is life, Lee?
That's good.
Yep. I'm in the same boat. I think life is good. I mean, it's always busy. The work life is really good. Other than that, I mean, it's such a depressing time of the year with how crappy the weather is. That's got me kind of down. I want sunshine. I've been wearing t-shirts and flip-flops and shorts for a while now. Whatever,
your summer wardrobe.
The weather isn't going to change my wardrobe. Will make my wardrobe change the weather.
Yeah, you will. But yeah, life is good.
Yeah, so hunky-dory.
I got lots of stuff to do.
Yep, same here. There's never a dull moment.
So yeah.
Sorry, we can't give you more than that, but it was a basic question. So life is good. Dragon 11. Say hello to Dragon 10 for me. Bloodthirsty GM. Josh, your Shadows Beneath crew fail miserably and a new Deathwatch RPG is begun to clean up your mess. What Deathwatch character do you play? Ooh. Okay, so I haven't read the rules for the Deathwatch RPG. Have you?
Yeah.
Have you? Okay, so
Well, some of them.
you just do you remember any of them well enough to know, like, is it different? How do they do it? Is it like different classes, professions, or like how do you build a character?
Well, the way I remember it is you pick a chapter and then you pick like apothecary or chaplain.
Like a specialty for
Yeah. And each class gives you different bonuses and
Yep.
stuff.
Okay.
So an ultramarines apothecary would be different from a space wolf.
Yeah.
Well,
Because the Ultramarine would be super boring,
whatever.
and the Space Wolf would have a dumb name, right?
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm trying to think. I think the character would be if we're going to go into the traditional roles. I like playing tanky kind of characters when I can. I did that for the Dark Heresy session that we did at Matt's house. Played a tank character and really enjoyed it. So I would love to play that kind of close combat tank with the shield and hammer. Probably an Imperial Fist, some stubborn jerk. I wouldn't have to be the guy in charge. I have no interest in that. Don't want to be the healer.
We don't want any responsibility, basically.
Well, I want the responsibility. Like, I want a very distinct, straightforward job.
Yeah.
My job, I'm the tank. My job is to tank. Tank. I'd be fine with that. Because there's some responsibilities, leading the party through combat. Kind of managing stuff like that. But, yeah, I don't know, that'd be fun. As far as the range damage dealer, I've played enough of those characters playing D&D and stuff like that in the past that I think I'd be over it a little bit. I'd still be more than happy to. The heavy weapon guy, that's too cliche for me. So yeah, some Imperial Fist, close combat, more tank than super high damage dealing. Just that tough character of, I'm here and I don't die. Get off my planet. Get off my lawn.
Whack, whack.
Yep. Because actually, I'm trying to think. My character, I think it was Mordecai for the Dark Heresy session at Matt's place. It was a shield and a mace is what I think I was armed with. And I would just basically, because the party would just stumble through everything at Matt's house too, and just have these terrible combat encounters. So that's why I made that character after my first one died, because I built a social character for a not social game.
Yeah.
Turns out. So
It depends on who you're playing with, too.
well, sorry. Our game group was not a social game group at that point.
No, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
like,
The original character I built would have been fine in most setups, but not in that one. So yeah, I literally just went through and tanked everything. I just shouted at people and didn't die. I want to play the Deathwatch RPG really bad. I don't know if we're gonna do it anytime soon. Because the tough thing about the RPG stuff is, I know I'm getting off topic and into all that, but it's trying to figure out how to monetize it. Because having, like this session that we're doing, we got 6 people playing, we got a GM, and we got Rob on the computer.
Yep.
Having 8 people in a room for 4
You
hours.
got everybody except me and Dave.
Yeah. It's
And
not.
Mike.
Yeah, it's not a cheap thing to do, unfortunately. So the cost to produce this stuff is really high, and we haven't figured out the right way to monetize it so that we can keep it going. So who knows? I'm not creative enough to figure out how to get that Deathwatch RPG. All I know is I want to play. Oh, that'd be fun. Because I think that would work with this party. Like, having 6 people is tough, but if we were all Space Marines, obviously the encounters would be a lot tougher, but I think the personalities and all that would come together better.
Yeah, but as far as I remember, Deathwatch is a combat system.
Yeah, Deathwatch is going to be much heavier
And
combat.
they have rules for dealing with hordes.
Yeah.
So
I would probably listen to the Doom soundtrack, the new Doom soundtrack, every time before we play, and just we're gonna go kill stuff. Oh man, that'd be good. That's the other thing that's no fun is that we can't listen to music when we play. And that's the same thing for 40K. Like, most of my guests that come in realize that in the morning when I'm hanging out making tables and just talking to my guests, I always have music on in the background, or almost always. And like when Lee and I, well, we haven't played in a while, but when we used to play more often, like we were listening to Bolt Thrower or whatever. I like listening to music. So I'm one of those. I'm not like a huge music nerd or geek or whatever.
Well, it gets you in the mood to play.
Yeah, that's the thing. I like listening to music, but I couldn't care less about, you know, the band or the actual people making the music. I know that probably doesn't sound right, but I just like listening to music.
Yeah, you're interested in the product.
Correct. Yeah. Yeah.
That's the thing.
In the art, man, not personal lives or whatever. I don't care. I assume that, you know what? I assume that it's the same for a bunch of viewers watching here. They couldn't care less about us.
No.
They're here to watch the game, and that's the point of it.
That's what we do is sit and talk.
It's true. For those that do want to have a little bit more interaction or talk about stuff. Casual lunatic. That's awesome. Lee, do you ever do any custom sculpting for your conversions? Lately, I've been trying to sculpt some robe minis for my AdMech using green stuff. I assume it's AdMech. Or it could be Imperial Terrain. What does AM stand for? Casual lunatic. It's been going okay, but I've been having trouble with messing up finished details, like a nice fold in a robe when trying to sculpt the next part of it. Any tips or tricks you might have would be appreciated.
I'm guessing that's Imperial Terrain.
Not AdMech? AdMech's got robes everywhere.
Yeah, then you don't have to sculpt them.
Well, I don't know. Maybe he's got something. Maybe he's converting something that's not AdMech into AdMech.
I don't know.
I don't know. But any tips for working with green stuff?
Not really.
You heard it here, folks. I think for green stuff, because I used to do green stuff work.
Yeah.
Really basic stuff, but like when I was 17 or 18 and making true scale Marines, I was doing green stuff work. Because I was using the method, I think it was, I think it was one of the old, what was his name on Bolter and Chainsaw? Doghouse, I think, was one of the guys that really did a lot of good work for it. And it was the very...
Is that the guy who did the Night Lords?
No, I don't think so, but maybe. This was
the first ones?
Maybe then.
Yeah.
I know he did, I think I want to say Space Wolves back in the day, but I was using the method of the legs from the Chaos Warriors attached to the Space Marine torso and arms and all that. But the legs were kind of tall. Or no, was I using the torsos too? I can't remember. I might have them at home somewhere still. A couple of the prototypes I was doing. But I think the big thing is, like, if you're jumping into green stuff and the first thing you're trying to do is oops.
Yeah.
That's like,
you're gonna have a bad
that's
time.
super advanced. That's like, you're learning how to drive, and okay, you've passed your beginner's course. Here's an F1 car. Figure out how to drive it. Like,
No.
So I'd say maybe starting something a little bit simpler. And just
But then again, he might be, or she might be, more advanced.
Maybe they are more advanced. I don't know. But yeah, I'd say maybe start simpler.
Well, the two pieces of advice I could give is take your time and keep your tools wet.
Yep.
Just have a glass of water and just dip them in, because the stickiness ruins everything.
Right. I wonder even if doing it in stages, because if you're ruining one part before moving, when you move
it
on
sounds
to the
like
next one.
he's trying to get everything done.
I think, maybe if you break it down into stages, that might make it easier. I don't know. That's tough.
Yeah, it is.
Next up, we got Waylander. I apologize for how scratchy my throat is. I'm a little bit sick right now, so I'm going to just keep coughing and hacking. That's what's the nice thing about the stand mic, because I can kind of get away from it a little bit.
Yeah.
I leave it clipped onto you. You can't, but I can lean over and go because I need to. And,
Or cover the mic.
No, I don't think covering the mic works. I think that's just like, that's terrible, like static. Sorry that you're wearing a headset. Next up, we got Waylander 11. Man, I'm so glad the old school sit and talks are back. We're glad to be back. Lee, how goes the AOS Terrain build?
I'm done.
Yeah,
Done.
You were losing steam on that one.
Yeah.
Because you're a little bit...
Because while I was building things, like the bridge, or some stuff I had to, like, scrap, it was fun. But for the last, 3-4 weeks, I've been painting out-of-the-box stuff
Okay, yeah. And it's just the.
I mean, it looks good when
same
it's
thing
done.
over and over again.
Yeah,
right?
it looks good when it's done, but it's just mind-numbingly boring.
Yeah, I hear that. I'm the same thing. I got to jump from project to project. I can't.
But there should be a video. If it's not out, then it should be out pretty soon.
Yeah.
Because we did the last bridge video, then we did an unboxing. Basically put everything on a table. Shot a video. So. But yeah, AOS is done. 40K is next.
There you go. Next we got Catfish666. Josh and Lee, what beers have you been enjoying lately? I'm a big fan of stouts and porters. My local beer scene is great, so the level of quality beer has been fantastic to enjoy. Also, nachos or chicken wings?
Chicken wings.
Okay.
For me, first off.
Chicken wings for sure?
Yeah.
I think for me, nachos if they're well done, but it's tough to find a place that does good nachos.
So, chicken wings.
Well, chicken wings most of the time,
Oh,
unless
eat your
I can find
chicken
a good
wings.
nacho place. Leave my chicken wings alone, man. Well, the same, I think it's easier to do mediocre chicken wings than it is to do mediocre nachos. So, I enjoy some good nachos, but most of the restaurants out there just do such a crap job. Where they've got some toppings on the top, but they don't layer it. So
Yeah.
it's there's a giant mound of chips with toppings on a third of them.
Yeah, once you get through the top layer, it's just chips.
Yeah,
So,
that's terrible.
but you don't get that with chicken wings.
That's true. You know what it is? Okay, so Heather, my better half, makes really good nachos. So,
Yeah.
yeah. When people know how to make nachos, nachos can be way better.
But beer?
Beer, I don't know. I still bounce around. I don't know any of the names of it. Because, again, my better half works as a chef. And they've got a bunch of different kind of craft local beers.
Yep.
And there's one that... Okay, Lee, pretend to distract them while I look this up. I'm going to figure out the name of it.
Oogity boo, oogity boo.
Dance. Dance, monkey, dance.
What are you looking up?
I'm looking up the...
The menu?
Yeah,
Or-
to figure out what the beer menu is. But, okay, so I've also been drinking... I can't remember the name of it, but there's an actual, ginger beer.
Yeah.
Because I get the sloshy belly from time to time. So... When you drink ginger beer, it makes your belly feel better. So I'm woo!
Beer that makes you feel good. Yeah, for me, it's when I do get it, it's Carlsberg.
It's Carlsberg?
Yeah.
Okay.
When I go to the beer store, I usually pick up a case.
I have been drinking some Brimstone Midnight Mass is what I've been drinking. And I am happy enough with that. So it is Brimstone Midnight Mass. And that's local. I think that's out of Niagara-on-the-Lake. So it's good.
Yeah, because I'm not really... I don't want to say snobby, but snobby.
Yep.
About beer.
I've gotten away from the India Pale Ale kind of stuff lately. I'm not liking it as much anymore. The stouts are what do it for me. So yeah, there's the food and drink segment of this sit and talk. All right, let's jump into the next one here. I don't know actually how many we have, so
we have 30.
But that goes way down.
That's including...
Yeah, there's a bunch here from Matt.
Yeah.
Okay, so because the speed and the timing on this is always weird.
Yeah.
Because we do the first half an hour here, and then we jump into the vault to do the other half an hour.
Yep.
So next we got Jason Krell? Jason Krell.
Yeah.
We're that's what it is.
Yep.
Hey, bearded sage of the mountain, commonly referred to as Josh. Just to clarify, this is a question for Lee about Mechanicum in 30K. Do you have any tips for starting a Mechanicum army in 30K?
Start working for a company that buys everything for you?
Ooh, yeah. So it's funny that I've ended up being the kind of Mechanicum guy, because if you watch the videos, I love the Mechanicum army, but I'm not super... That's not my first choice for armies.
No.
And I'm no Mechanicum expert by any means. When I first started here, I happened to be the one that volunteered to play Mechanicum because nobody else wanted to because they didn't want to read the book.
Yeah.
And that now I'm the Mechanicum guy. And funny enough, the same thing happened for me in AdMech and 40K. Nobody else wanted to play them, so I did. And I became the AdMech guy.
Yeah.
I like them well enough. Don't get me wrong, I'm not complaining in any way. So the experience with Legio Cybernetica, I always like to play low model count, so Cybernetica works for me, especially the way that I play them. I like big stompy robots, they're cool. What do you think about the Ordo Reductor? I like the idea of the super powerful artillery, and you can kind of customize stuff. So I like the idea of Reductor, but it doesn't fit my playstyle as well, and it doesn't fit what the studio owns. I want to build a fluffy list with chemical and rad weapons. Yep. Which will include a macro carrot explorator. I said that better than I think. I've never said that out loud. Well, it's like, you know, all those different words that when you read them, you know how they sound in your mind, but then your mouth tries to make it sound.
Yeah, you just like locate the file.
Yep.
And just sound bite in your brain.
Any good ideas how to start with that? I don't know. As far as I remember, they're almost like custom land raiders, the way you can build them. So I don't know because I don't have any experience with it. And I like my pain train, so that's what I stick with. I know this is quite a dense question, but it would really help. Thank you so much for the amazing content and helping people who are trying to build a local gaming group through your great ideas and enthusiasm. Well, I'm glad you're enjoying the content. I mean, this is so much of a dream job of just getting to play. Yeah, woo, enthusiasm. Well, it's just, I mean, it's fun when it's fun. And I'm all about, you know, building the community up wherever I can. So anything like, anytime people ask me for any help or anything like that, I mean, there's only so much I can do, but I'm always willing to try. Because it's important for me to try to get more people playing this game. But yeah, okay, as far as the Explorator, because I mean, it depends on what you're wanting to transport. For me, the pain train's almost kind of an afterthought. Because if I don't bring my Myrmidons, I don't bother with the pain train. Like, there's no point to it.
No.
Most of my stuff, you know, either can't go into the transports or it doesn't want to. Running a bunch of thralls jumping out of that thing would be scary. But I think the Explorator has got the advantage of having a lot more firepower than what the pain train does. But it's those hybrid builds that I'm not always a big fan of. Like, if I want a tank to do damage, I'm going to take my Krios tanks. If I want to transport, I'll take the pain train. So that's the thing for me with the Explorator, is that it's a little bit more of a, you know, take on all comers, multi-role thing, which for me playing Cybernetica doesn't work for me. For Reductor, I could see it working and just going super vehicle heavy. But yeah, having a little las cannon boat probably wouldn't hurt though, driving around. I just think the Krios is such a good tank for how much you pay for it, that the Explorator kind of gets left in the dust for me. But that's just my opinion on that, and I don't know. I wouldn't fuss too much about it. I get more Krios tanks than the pain train.
I don't like robots.
Beep boop. Kind of robot hater. Okay, this is the last question we're going to do on here before we jump into the vault. And this is from Mac Hawk. That's Lassie. I don't know how to say his name right. I still can't figure it out.
I'm going to stop trying.
Well, no. I'd like to give him a shout out. Okay, because honestly, this is the guy that I credit with when I was super upset in 7th edition about the state of Deathwatch and that FAQ. This is the one fellow that kind of kept me interested in Deathwatch. Because he was just as upset as me, but he had a bunch of Deathwatch models, and I've pointed them out before. If you look at the early pictures of my Deathwatch stuff, when I've done a little bit of, hey, you know, I want to add more to my army, look at the stuff that somebody sent me. That's all him.
Yeah.
So we talk about Deathwatch every once in a while, and yeah, so big credit for anybody here who's a Deathwatch fan. If it wasn't for this guy, I probably would have sold the army and not bothered with them ever again. So I credit him for keeping me interested in them, because he's a really good painter. Oh, like the jealous look?
No, I thought I saw something move.
You'd be freaked out. All right, Almighty Bearded One. So it finally happened. Deathwatch Codex is on the way. I'm so excited for this. So what are you hoping to see?
It's gonna suck.
I'm going into this with all the optimism in the world, because I know that they're going to expand stuff out. I don't see them fundamentally changing much of the Deathwatch stuff.
Or they could just go a completely different way.
I know. Don't do this, Lee. Don't be that guy. So I think the
totally
thing for
that guy.
Deathwatch is I'm excited to see what we get for artifacts as well as stratagems. The current state of them, I've said many times, I don't find them overly competitive, especially a whole list of them, but I don't care. They're fun to play. So I don't care too much about Primaris, but I'm curious to see how they make Primaris make sense in the Deathwatch army. Because everything's so expensive. But Primaris guys with special issue ammunition, if they do that, could be fantastic. Even if they have their own set, that could be super cool. Hoping to see, I really hope we see the Corvus Blackstar get Power of the Machine Spirit so I can move and shoot it. Even if that ups the point cost a little bit, I'm okay, whatever, I'm fine with that. Traditionally, though, I think most of the times we see an army go from Index to Codex. They typically get a point reduction.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't mind some point drops here and there. I would like to see shotguns become more viable. I think right now the extra, I think it's an extra 5 points for a shotgun, so that's a 24-point model. And you exchange your bolter for the shotgun, and the bolter's superior in almost every way.
Yeah.
So for all those models I have that have shotguns, I wouldn't mind seeing them get a little bit of a boost. Even if it's a free swap, I'd be happy with that. I don't think the shotgun's too powerful, but even if they felt it was and they made it slightly weaker, but it was a free swap for the bolter, totally cool with that. I'd like to see them lift some of the arbitrary restrictions on war gear, just because they don't make sense. They're just annoying. Like, I don't really want a chaplain with the power fist, but why can't I take one? Like,
Yeah, they don't have the option.
they don't have the. They specifically say you use the chaplain from the index from the Space Marine book, but he can't have a power fist. What?
Give him a power fist.
Yeah.
Who cares?
That's kind of where I'm at. Same with like the librarian. Like, you can take a librarian, but he better not have a jump pack. And then I think the captains are limited in their war gear loadout. So I'd like to see a little bit more customizability.
Do they think they're going to get too powerful? I mean,
I don't. I have no idea. I have a couple. Well, I have a couple guesses why they might have done it, because there wasn't like official models, but there's there's so many.
There is an official chaplain with a power fist.
There is, and it's not tough to put a Deathwatch shoulder pad on him. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Hopefully, whoever made those choices is not making those choices again, because that doesn't make any sense to me. Overall, I don't think they need to add much to it. Like, the force as it stands is pretty cool. I would just like to see a couple point adjustments that are just common sense thing for me. Like I said, the shotgun's big for me because I got a bunch of shotguns. Frag cannons. People complain about the frag cannons being so powerful, but it's a 30-point upgrade on a 19-point model. It's a 49-point model. And granted, you know, he's got some versatile firing modes, and the one everybody complains about is the 2d6 auto hits at 8-inch range. Strength 6, AP -1, 1 damage.
No.
But, again, it's a 49-point model with 1 wound, toughness 4, and a 3-up save.
Yeah, you can just
Imperial
take
Guard Hellhounds do the same thing with better range, and they're not that much more expensive.
Yeah.
And it's a vehicle driving around with like 10 or 11 wounds and toughness 7.
Yeah.
And he's the cost of 2 of those guys. Like, that doesn't make sense. Well, okay, I would be disappointed if they made the frag cannon more expensive with that justification when it's fine how it is. It'd be nice if it was cheaper, but whatever. So yeah, a little bit more customizability for your characters, the tweak to the Black Star, a bunch of cool stratagems, and I would be pretty happy. So, if they find a way to disappoint me,
They will.
kudos to them. So yeah, we talked about my fears for the Codex, that they're just going to kind of put weird arbitrary restrictions in it that don't make sense. And I don't want it to be a super Primaris Codex. I don't know what they're going to do with Primaris Marines, and I don't mind Primaris Marines. I got my Hell Blasters, so they're kind of cool, but please don't make this Codex Primaris.
Codex Black Space Marines.
Yeah. It seems like the Custodes Codex was the first good elite army for 8th. Yeah, I'd say that's probably... They were over the top strong with certain stuff. That if Deathwatch end up that powerful, I'll be super happy, but I don't need that. I'm also one of the ones that think Grey Knights are fine the way they are right now, too.
Yeah, they're great knights.
They're fine. So hopefully they've learned a thing or two about how elite armies should function and can apply some of that to the Deathwatch. I'm really hoping that's what it is. They've gained some experience and they're able to make something cool for us Deathwatch players. So we are going to wrap that up there. We're going to continue answering your questions if you jump into the vault in the link below. Remember that if you have any questions for Quirk, leave them on this video, not the Vault video. If you're not a Vault member, you can click on the link below, check out the next video anyways with a 7-day free trial. Everything we do in pairs, so that's about twice as much content in the Vault, and then there's a bunch of fun behind the scenes stuff, a whole ton there. And that's how we support ourselves here at MiniWarGaming is the Vault. So check it out. Thanks for tuning in. Keep being awesome, and as always, happy wargaming.